I think we completed shloka number 11. We have to go to 12. Am I right?
Yes, Gurugale.
Yeah. What happens when we are dominated by Rajoguna is to be explained. Krishna has been saying this not to observe what is going on in others, but for self-reflection. What guna is dominating me at the present is to be seen, must be able to observe. Lobha pravrittirarambha karmanam ashmaspruha. Rajasyetani jayante viruddhe kurulandana. When Rajoguna predominates in us, we will be greedy. Greed will be there, lobha, pravrittirarambha, active in achieving what we want to achieve. Karmana mashmaspruha. We will have great desire in performing our activity in order to gain the expected result. So this is when this is happening in each one of us. Krishna is telling Arjuna and to us, know that there is Rajoguna predominant in you. Lobha, pravrittirarambha. Lobha, which you already know, activity, pravritti. Pravritti in what? In doing many activities, many karma to achieve our ends, then you have to know. And what does it bring? Peace of mind. He says that it will not bring a peace of mind. Ashamaha is ashanti. A man where Rajoguna is dominant is not peaceful. He has a desire and following the desire, and therefore he is in tension of that. And wants many things in life to achieve. And that is happening in each one of us. Krishna tells Arjuna, know that Rajoguna is predominant in you. It's a beautiful self-analysis chapter, Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter. Know yourself. That is what Ramana was telling. What is that you in you, you have to know. Is there Sattuguna there, Rajoguna there, Tamoguna there? One must be able to decide. I think we can recite. Lobha pravrittirarambha.
Lobha pravrittirarambha.
Karmanamasamaspraha.
Karmanamasamaspraha.
Rajasyetani jayante.
Rajasyetani jayante.
Vivruddhe bharatarshava.
Vivruddhe bharatarshava.
Lobha pravrittirarambha.
Lobha pravrittirarambha.
Karmanamasamaspraha.
Karmanamasamaspraha.
Rajasyetani jayante.
Rajasyetani jayante.
Vivruddhe bharatarshava.
Vivruddhe bharatarshava.
Vivruddha is when it is dominant. Bharatarshava is the name used for Arjuna. Arjuna, when Rajoguna is dominant, these are the things that are going to happen in you. And he is also telling to those who want to listen to Krishna's words, to each one of us. Aprakasho apravrittischa pramado mohayevacha. Beautiful it is. We will have some days like this. Aprakasha. Everywhere we feel darkness. Aprakasha. Apravrittischa. Pravritti means activity. There is laziness for any activity. Apravrittischa. Pramada. Erroneous judgments. Third word there. Pramada is to do something wrong. Pramada, moha, confusion. We have already known what is the nature of the tamoguna in this chapter. Nidra, alasya, ityadya, tamoguna. She has told, aprakasho, darkness everywhere. Aprovrittisya, having no interest in doing any activity, that's lazy. Pramado, even when we take a decision, it is a wrong one. Mohayavacha, in all confusions. Tamasyetani jayante vivruddhe. When tamoguna is dominant, vivruddha is again dominant. When tamoguna dominates in each one of us, we will be feeling darkness very well, inactive, not at all feeling like acting, and pramada, all erroneous judgment will be there, and confusion. When these things are there, Arjuna, know that you are in tamoguna. It's a beautiful awakening Krishna has been giving to us. Look at yourself, that's it, that's it. When you are in a when we are in a problem, you must be able to know what guna is dominating in each one of us. And when we know that, you have half won the problem. You come out of that and observe yourself. Krishna has been telling us to get out of these three gunas and observe what's going on in ourselves as a neutral observer. That is where the Atman is. I think we can recite. Aprakasho apravrittischa
Aprakasho apravrittischa
pramado moha evacha
pramado moha eva cha
tamasyetani jayante
tamasyetani jayante
vivruddhe kurunandana.
vivruddhe kurunandana.
Aprakasho apravrittischa
Aprakasho apravrittischa
pramado moha evacha
pramado moha eva cha
tamasyetani jayante
tamasyetani jayante
vivruddhe kurunandana.
vivruddhe kurunandana.
And there is a necessity for us to remember the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where he said what a man ought to do at the time of death. Recognizing the end has come, he said, Kavim Purana Manushasita Ramano Araniyam Samanusmaredhya Sarvasya Dataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat Prayanakale Mansachalena Bhaktiyayukto Yoga Balena Chaiva Bhruvormadhye Pranamameshya Samyak Satam Param Purusham Upaiti Dhyam Yadaksharam Veda Vido Vadanti Vishanti Yadyatyo Vitaragaha Yadichanto Brahmacharyantanti Tatte Padam Sangrahena Pravakshe Om Ityekaksharam Brahman Vyaharan Mamanusparan Yah Prayati Tajandeham Sayati Paramam Gatim. One who is able to leave his body saying Om when he is going out of his life, he will straight away reach the cosmic consciousness. That is what he said in the 4 shlokas which I recited from chapter 8, which you have underlined. There is a reference to this. Yada sattve pravruddhetu pralayamyati dehavrutu. When a man leaves his body, when sattva is predominant, when sattva guna is dominating, tadottama vidan lokan amalan pratibhadyate. What would happen to that man who leaves the body when sattva dominating in him? He will go to the greater lokas, Swarga and the Divya lokas, he says, he will reach there. Sattva is not moksha, which we already know, but better life, and that is to be admitted. Sattva is the last step that we can rise to. Gunati Tattva will be a next stage, comes with the blessings of that cosmic consciousness, as he said in the 10th chapter. I will give him the jnana necessary for him. So, yada sattve pravruddhetu, when sattva guna is predominant, pralayamyati dehavrut. The man owning the body leaves the body. What would happen? Tadottama Midan Lokan. He will go to the better lokas. Krishna doesn't say that there are no other loka at all. But ultimate goal of a man is to go beyond all these lokas and get the liberation. So when there is many punya karma, Krishna says you will go to Swarga and enjoy. What would happen? Remember the 9th chapter, 21st sloka, Kshine punye matyalokam vishanti. When your earned punya is over, you will come back to this earth. And ultimate goal of life is not to go to Swarga, but to get liberated, get from the cycle of out from the cycle of birth and death. So he says, Yada he doesn't make a confusion here, you see. Doesn't say you will get moksha when you go and die in sattva. You will go to better lokas, that is all. And when one becomes gunatita, he will definitely reach that, wherein he will go out from the cycle of birth and death and merge back in that cosmic consciousness. Yada sattve pravruddhetu, when sattva is predominant, pralayamyati dehabhrut, a man with a body leaves the body, tadottama midan lokan, he will go to uttama lokas, amalan pratipadyate. And also he will go to the peaceful places like Swarga and other places and return to earth, not moksha here. Look at the beauty. Sattva is not the ultimate thing for Krishna or for Bhagavad Gita or for Indian culture. Sattva is the highest, of course. Gunatita, Traigunya Vishya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavajuna, he told us in the 2nd chapter itself. But what can I do there? No, I can only go up to this. And that must dawn. You have to open the eyes, and there must be light outside when you want to see it. If not, your opening eyes will be having no meaning. Therefore, that must come from the outside. And you will be enlightened there. I think we can recite. Yada sattve pravruddhetu
Yada sattve pravriddhetu
pralayam yati dehabrat
pralayam yati dehabhrit
tadottamamidam lokan
tadottama vidam lokan
amalan pratipadyate.
amalan pratipadhyate.
Yada sattve pravruddhetu
Yada sattve pravriddhetu
pralayam yati dehabrat
pralayam yati dehabhrit
tadottamamidam lokan
tadottama vidam lokan
amalan pratipadyate.
amalan pratipadhyate.
And all who are listening will know what he is going to tell us in the next chapter, even without seeing the shloka. When Sattva dominant, you go to Swarga, and what would happen to the man who has Rajoguna prominent at the time of his death? That is a very important time that we have noticed in the 8th chapter. A man's greatness will be seen at the time of death, what he remembers. So, Rajasi Pralayangatva. Beautiful, it is just like your own language. When Rajoguna is there, if you leave the body, Rajasi Pralayangatva, Karma Sangishu Jayate. You have to again participate in the active world, doing many karmas with the desire to get some fruits. And he has added the tamoguna also in this shloka, remember. Tata pradilinas-tamasi mudayonishu jayate. If a man dies when the tamoguna is predominant, he will be born again in a lower life. Usually you have in your books that he will become some animal or creature, etc. Who said that? Krishna did not. In human beings, we can be born very low and low to a very large extent, and high till the moksha. So it is here, even if it is here, if he is born as a parrot, born as a lion, meaningless. Krishna didn't say that. You will not be having this life which is as great as this. You will going down in the ladder. In fact, my feeling is all animal world is doing their dharma. But only people who have left dharma happens to be human beings, and therefore there is a necessity of Bhagavad Gita for them. Lion doesn't go on killing deer. It knows its food is deer, kills and eats. And when the food is full, when the stomach is full, even if the lion's deer pass in front of it, it won't go and catch. It won't stop for a lifetime. So is the case with all animals. The greedy are only human beings, and therefore they need an advice, they need Bhagavad Gita. So when they say they will become animals, I have an objection. Why do you say that? Did Krishna say that? No. And what right have you got to say that you will become a parrot, you will become a peacock, you will become a lion, you will become a deer? Who said you? So that's not necessary. Rajasi Pralayangatva, you are right. Rajasi Pralayangatva, note that carefully. When Rajoguna is predominant, if a man leaves the body, that is 15th Shloka, line number 1, Karma Sangishu Jayate. He will be born in the karma dominant rebirth. He has to work and work and work and to achieve his desires. So he will be born again because he died with Rajoguna predominant in him. Rajasi Pralayangatva Karma Sangishu Jayate. What would happen to the other man? Tata Praleenastamasi. When you are dominated with tamoguna, Praleenastamasi. Tamasi is tamoguna there. You can underline if you feel that you have a confusion there. Tamasi is tamoguna. When tamoguna is dominant, if you leave the body, you will be born again in still lower birth. That's all we can say. Still lower birth. Still a birth of laziness and what are all the gunas that was there in tamoguna, they will be born like that. So he completed 2 gunas in this shloka. What happens when a man dies when Rajoguna predominant? What happens to a man when he dies when Tamoguna is predominant? He has explained to me and to everyone in this shloka. I think we can recite. Rajasi Pralayangatva
Rajasi Pralayam Gatva
Karma Sangishu Jayate
Karma Sangishu Jayate
Tata Praleenastamasi
Tatha Praleenastamasi
Mudha Yonishu Jayate
Mudha Yonishu Jayate
Rajasi Pralayangatva
Rajasi Pralayam Gatva
Karma Sangishu Jayate
Karma Sangishu Jayate
Tata Praleenastamasi
Tatha Praleenastamasi
Mudha Yonishu Jayate.
Mudha Yonishu Jayate.
And then we will go to the another part of these 3 gunas. What will happen when we do sattva, actions of sattva, actions of rajas, and actions of tamas? That is what he is going to explain us in the next 2-3 shlokas. Karmana sukrutasyahu satvikam nirmalam palam. When you do a sattvika action, its result also will be very pleasant, will be very peaceful. Rajasastu palam dukkam. Rajoguna, when you do an action with Rajoguna, the result is dukkha. In Sattva there is peace, in Raja there is dukkha, and Ajnanam Tamasa Palam. Ignorance and moha is the result of action that we do in tamoguna. All the three gunas he said in this shloka. Karmana sukrutasyahuhu satvikam nirmalam palam. Faultless in shape and joy and wisdom and dispassion they will have when they do this action. Satvika they have done. There is Shastra says you do it and you did it, you offered it back to Krishna. That is Sattva-guna action, not for any personal gain. You prayed for the world around, prayed for the peace of human beings. You did it as because it is in Shastra. Then you will be having Nirmala Palam, underline that one, Nirmala Palam. In word he says, Satvikam Nirmalam Palam. When you do an action in Sattva, that will give the result of peace of mind, pleasantness, goodness. Rajasastu Param Dukkam, underline that also. Rajoguna, if you do an action, though you achieve your desired result, you will have another result rising. And therefore, Rajasastu Palam Dukkam. Rajoguna, we can only give you dukkha, sorrow again, and ajnanam tamasa palam. Tamoguna dominant, ajnana is the pala. Ignorance is the result of action of tamoguna. Ignorance is the result of the action of tamoguna. So, shloka number 16, Krishna said about the result of action of sattva-guna, rajoguna, and tamoguna in single shloka. In a single shloka, he has said all the three things about. I think we can recite. Karmana sukrutasyahuhu
Karmana sukritasyahuhu
satvikam nirmalam palam
satvikam nirmalam phalam
rajasastu palam dukkam
rajasastu phalam dukkham
ajnanam tamasat palam
ajnanam tamasah phalam
karmana sukrutasyahuhu
karmana sukritasyahuhu
satvikam nirmalam palam
satvikam nirmalam phalam
rajasastu palam dukkam
rajasastu phalam dukkham
ajnanam tamasat palam.
ajnanam tamasah phalam.
Interesting sloka that you studied in 16. He tells about all the three gunas, what would happen when that guna is dominant in you. Going to the next part of the same subject. Sattva sanjayate jnanam. Beautiful chapter. When sattva guna dominates, you will have jnana. Sattva sanjayate jnanam. Beautiful short sentences. Sattva sanjayate jnanam. Rajaso lobha evacha. Rajaguna, greed. Rajaso lobha evacha. Lobha is greed. When sattva, with sattva you get jnana. Rajo dominant you will be having lobha. Pramada moho tamaso. All erroneous judgment, confusion is the result of tamas. Bhavato ajnanam evacha. Ends in ajnana. Ends in ajnana. What would happen to as the result of sattva-guna, tamo-guna, and rajoguna are this. Sattva sanjayate jnanam. From sattva you will gain knowledge. And you go towards the moksha or liberation. Rajaso lobha evacha. Raja, greed. You want another thing. You go on one after another thing in your life, then it is rajas. Tama, pramada, moho, tamaso. Pramada, erroneous judgment. Moha, confusion. Ajnana is the result of tamoguna. Is the result. This is a beautiful chapter for psychiatrists to observe. How a man behaves in what situation and what is he when he is behaving in a particular guna. A good subject for study, I hope. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. Small sentence. From sattva you will gain knowledge. Rajaso lopayevacha. From rajas you will be more greedy. You will achieve your first desire, and then there will second desire will start. Pramada moho tamaso. Pramada is erroneous judgment. Moha is confusion. Result of tamas. And it leads you to ajnana. It doesn't bring you towards the brightness of the knowledge at all. Tamoguna will be the other end. As to speak about it in the no, it has not yet come yet. In the next chapter, he will say Asuri Guna. Tamoguna leads to Asuri Swabhava, that we will come to later. I think we can recite. Sattvat Sanjayate Jnanam
Sattvat sanjayate jnanam.
Rajaso Lobha Evacha
Rajaso lobha eva cha.
Pramada Moho Tamaso
Pramadamohau tamaso.
Bhavato Ajnanamevacha
Bhavato ajnanameva cha.
Sattvat Sanjayate Jnanam
Sattvat sanjayate jnanam.
Rajaso Lobha Evacha
Rajaso lobha eva cha.
Pramada Moho Tamasaha
Pramadamohau tamasaha.
Bhavato Ajnanamevacha.
Bhavato ajnanameva cha.
When he says something, he says in detail. And he says, where does the man Sattva Sattvika go? Where does the Rajasa go? Where does the Tamasa go? Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha. Sattva dominant man goes higher and higher in scale. Urdhva means up. Up he goes. Later he will be. Peaceful he will be. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha. Madhye tishtanti rajasa. Rajasa, he was Rajasa in this life. Even after that, he will be born in the Rajasa family only. Rajasa Guna only. So, he will stay where he is. Not going down, neither going up. Both of them are ruled out for him. Sattva urdhvam gachanti, underline that. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha. Sattva dominant man goes up. Towards moksha, you can write. Towards moksha. Up. Madhya tishtanti rajasa. Rajasa, he remains wherever he is, in the middle. Madhya tishtanti rajasa. He was there here, he will be there here again. Jaganya gunavartista ado gachanti tamasa. And what would happen to tamasa man? Tamasa man, because of his tamoguna, he will go down in the ladder of birth. Again there is animal, creature, and so on and so forth mentioned in the summary of your shloka. Krishna did not say that. So I have no right to speak about it. Who has seen animal is low and man is big? I am not going to say anything about it. They are according to their dharma, they live and they live their body. Therefore, when they say here, they will be born as insects, birds, and other lower creatures. Who said those creatures are low for us? Let's leave it to those who say about it. But it is not it. Jaganya Gunavrittista Ado Gachanti Tamasa. That is very sufficient for us. He will go down further. He has gone 10 feet in the well, now in this bar, he will go 20 feet down. Still down it is there. It is there, eternally down is possible in this. Therefore, urdhvam gachanti sattvastha. Sattva dominant man goes up towards moksha, towards liberation. Madhye tishtanti rajasaha. Rajasa remains wherever he is. And Jaganya Gunavrittista, the Tamoguna dominant man, Ado Gachanti. He will go down in the ladder of life. He will go down and down and down in the ladder of life. His next life will be worse than this life. That's all we can take. His next life will be more sorrowful, more ignorant, more suffering, and that would come. That will finish the entire question. We are not about to say animals are not enjoying, animals are not living according to their dharma. They do live like that. Yes, I think we can recite. Urdhvam gacchati sattvastha
ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था
madhye tishtanti rajasaha
मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः
जगन्यगुणवृत्तिस्था
जघन्यगुणवृत्तिस्था
अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः
अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः
ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था
ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था
मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः
मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः
जगन्यगुणवृत्तिस्था
जघन्यगुणवृत्तिस्था
अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः.
अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः.
And Krishna gives a beautiful conclusion. Aware of yourself. Get aware of yourself. See that the action going on in you is because of the guna. Detach yourself from the guna and be objective to it. Just an observer, not a doer. So he says, Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drashtanu pashyati. If a man of knowledge sees that I am not the doer of the action, the gunas that are there in this combination is the doer of the action, he will get my bhava, he says. Madbhavam sodigachati. He will realize the Atman, Brahman, becomes one life, cosmic consciousness, liberate himself. That is Madbhavam sodigachati, last word of that line. He will get my bhava. He will become something like me. My being. Enters my being. That is what is said in the summary. Nanyam gunebhya kartaram. There is no other thing other than guna doing our actions. Nanyam gunebhya kartaram. Only gunas are doing action in me and action in you and action in everyone. You are witness. Don't be a participant. Just be a seer, not an actor. I think I gave you this example. When we are seeing a drama, we are looking at the drama as a sakshi. We are observers because we have paid for the ticket and we are sitting and enjoying what is going on there. Krishna is telling us, be an enjoyer looking at yourselves. What guna dominate, what action you do, just see that you are not the actor. Gunas make you act. Guna gunashu vartata iti matva nasajate. That was there in some other place. I don't remember which shloka it was there. Guna guneshu vartanta iti matva nasajate. Gunas are acting according to guna, he will not be worried about it. Even when Sattva guna dominates, he is an observer. Rajo guna dominates, an observer. Tamo guna is there, he is an observer. So he is out from the list of Sattva, Rajo, Tamo gunas. that man will come to me. Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram. There is no other person doing action other than gunas. Gunas are doing action. Yada drashtan pashyati. Drashta means a seer. When a man sees that the action going on in him are because of the gunas dominant in him and detached from them, gunebhyasya param veti madbhavam swati gacchati. He will see that cosmic consciousness in him, and then when he sees it, he will become that. When he sees it, he will become that. He will be a liberated man. Because he knows all actions that he did in his life was the action done by Guna. He was only an observer throughout. He stays in the observer condition, not the doer condition. Gunas will do. Gunas will do. When the laziness happens, he will feel sleepy. He knows that it is tamoguna dominant now. And when he does some good action, he knows it is sattva doing some action. And also rajaguna. But this man is detached from the gunas effects. Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram. When a doer sees nothing other than three gunas in his action, then that man gunebhyah param veti madbhavam sodhigacchati. Crossing the limits of all three gunas, he will come to me. Madbhavam sodhigacchati means he enters into me, he comes to me. That is to say, he will get liberated. A plain chapter, how to get liberated. Guna, say for example at the end of the life, whatever he has done, back to the Creator. And remembering God, leave the body. I gave you one example of Duryodhana. Janami dharmam nachame pravrittihi, janamyadam adharmam nachame nivrittihi, kenapi devena hrudistitena yata niyuktosmi tata karomi. Whichever God stays in me and orders me to do something, I will do it. He said it. Duryodhana said it. That was a great awareness. I gave you also the example of Kaikeyi. For us, Kaikeyi looks wrong, looks low, but she was doing what she was destined to do. She was born for that and did it. If she is aware of that, she is also liberated. I was asked to do this, I did it. Gunas made me do this, I don't know why, I did it. But still, there is an effort to have peace of mind that comes with sattva, not with rajas and tamas. That awareness must be there when a man does the action. Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram yada drashtan pasyati. When the seer sees the only gunas are doing their action, not he, gunebhyasya param veti, he will go beyond the gunas and madbhavam sodhigacchati. He will get my bhava. My bhava is, he will realize me. He will be one with me. Or I express through him. That is what he said in Jnanis. Jnanit atmayo me matam, he said earlier. Jnani is my atma only, he said. I think we can recite. Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram.
Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram.
Yada drashtanupashyati.
Yada drishtanupashyati.
Gunebhyasya param veti.
Gunebhyascha param veti.
Madbhavam sodhigacchati.
Madbhavam sodhigacchati.
Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram.
Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram.
Yada drashtanupashyati.
Yada drishtanupashyati.
Gunebhyasya param veti.
Gunebhyascha param veti.
Madbhavam sodhigacchati.
Madbhavam sodhigacchati.
And he further explains what he has said in the shloka number 19th, in the 20th shloka. Gunaneta natityatrain, going beyond all the three gunas, Dehi Deha Samudbhavan, Dehi Deha Samudbhavan, Janma Mrityu Jara Dukkai Vimukto Amrtamashnute. Underline that shloka. When he realizes that he is not the gunas are acting and he is very neutral to himself also, as he is neutral to others, then what happens? He will go beyond Janma Mrityu Jara Dukkaihi. Janma, Mrityu death, Jara old age, Dukkha will be relieved from all this. And Mukto Amrtamashnute. Amrtamashnute is, Amrtatva is liberation. He will get liberation. When a man understands, when a man goes beyond gunas, doesn't associate himself with the gunas, only he knows he is not the acting part but the seeing part he is, then what happens? Deha samudbhavan. So, this in this being in this body, what will happen to him when he realizes it? Janma mrityu jara dukkai vimuktaha. He will be relieved from janma, birth and rebirth, mrityu, death he will be overcoming, jara, old age won't be there, dukkha, it also won't be there. Relieved from all these four, he will get amrtatva, amrtamashnute, you underline that. Amrta means the liberated life. He will get the liberation. Bhagavad Gita is a perfect, very perfect advice to Arjuna and to each one of the listeners. There should not be any confusion left after going through Bhagavad Gita seriously. Where is the answer to this question in which part of the other Shastras? That's why in our prayer we say Gita Shastram Idam Punyam. Or he also says in the next chapter to come, this is the highest Shastra on earth for a follower of Bhagavad Gita. What we should do, what we should not do, how we should live, how we should not live, how we should die, what is birth, what is death, all questions of ours will be answered in Bhagavad Gita. There won't be any necessity. Of course, for curiosity's sake, you can read anything that you want. But Bhagavad Gita will give you a satisfactory answer to all your spiritual questions without any confusion left. Such clarity is there in Gita. That's why he says, Guna neta natitya trihin. When a man goes beyond these three gunas, Dehi, the man who was in the Deha, what will happen? What will he do? Janma mrityu jara dukkai vimuktaha. He will be relieved from janma mrityu jara dukkha. And what happens then? Mukto amrtamashnute. He leaves everything of this, and that is to say, he will not any of them left with him. Amrtamashnute. He will become liberated. He will become liberated. He will get that supreme bliss that is there in the cosmic consciousness. Madbhavam sodigachati, he said earlier. So, he will get the bhava of that cosmic consciousness, and that is what we call a Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ramana Maharshi, Chandrasekhar Bharati, Raghavendra Swami, many of them. When I take names, don't think that they are the only 4 or 5 left. Enduro Mahanubhavulu Andiriki Vandanamo. There are many liberated people, salute all. But we take some example for our purpose, that's all. I think we can recite. Gunanetan atityatrin.
Gunanetan atityatrin.
Dehi deha samudbhavan.
देही देहसमुद्भवान्
जन्म मृत्यु जरा दुःखैः
जन्म मृत्यु जरा दुःखैः
मुक्तो अमृतमश्नुते
विमुक्तो अमृतमश्नुते
गुणानेतानतीत्यत्रीन्
गुणान्येतानतीत्यत्रीन्
देही देहसमुद्भवान्
देही देहसमुद्भवान्
जन्म मृत्यु जरा दुःखैः
जन्म मृत्यु जरा दुःखैः
मुक्तो अमृतमश्नुते.
विमुक्तो अमृतमश्नुते.
A wonderful shloka. You can underline that, what would happen to him. And Arjuna gets a doubt. Arjuna is representing us, is representing each one of you. Whenever you get a question, Arjuna asks that question, which many of you have observed so far by now. You get a question, the question is asked by Arjuna. Chanchalam Mana Krishna, you had one. And you had another one. Why does the man do papa? Baladiva Niyojita, there was one in the 3rd chapter. So Arjuna is there to ask our question. He represents me and you to Krishna. And Arjuna asks a question which we will take up tomorrow. You can go to prayer, Swati.